As you begin listening, you might start to notice something shifting, a thought stretching, a belief loosening, a pattern dissolving. Because have you ever wondered how thoughts take shape? How a single word, a single question, can bend reality in ways that seemed impossible just moments before. It's almost like watching the sun rise, realizing that what once was darkness was never really the absence of light, just the waiting for it. And isn't that what belief is? Just a way of seeing, a filter, a frame, a lens through which everything is interpreted. But here's the thing. If you can see through one lens, you can see through another, can't you? And once you do, the world itself shifts with you. And as you think about that now, as your mind turns it over, feel the edges of the idea, testing it, you might wonder, what happens when you take an old belief and twist it? Turn it upside down, inside out. What happens when you realize the thing that seemed so real, it was just a habit of thought? Because people carry beliefs without even realizing it. They carry them like stones in their pockets, forgetting they ever picked them up. And isn't it interesting how light you feel when you put them down? And you might already be wondering, which old belief was holding more weight than you realized? And it makes you curious, doesn't it? Because if beliefs are just stories we tell ourselves, then who's the author? Who's the storyteller? Who's writing the next chapter? And if you could write anything at all, what would you choose? Because when you think about it, every limitation you've ever had was once just a thought that repeated enough times, it became familiar. And what is familiar feels true. Because what's true? It's just what you haven't questioned yet. And once you do, well, you already know what happens, don't you? Because the moment you question a limitation, the moment you step back and see it for what it is, it cracks. The edges soften. And through those cracks, something new begins to grow. And maybe you've already felt it. That quiet shift. That feeling that something's different now. Though you might not even have words for it yet. But it's there, isn't it? It's like a seed taking root before it even breaks the surface. And the best part, you don't have to force it. You don't have to try, because once a new possibility takes hold in the mind, it grows on its own, effortlessly, naturally. Just as it's happening now. And that makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the first thing you'll notice when you realise that you've changed? And you don't have to answer that now. Or maybe you already have, because it's already happening, isn't it? Because it's fascinating how thoughts move, like waves beneath the ocean, unseen yet powerful, shaping everything above them. And the moment you realise that, the moment you sense the movement deep inside, something changes, because what if the thoughts you once believed were solid, fixed, unchangeable, were never really that way at all? Because thoughts, they're like water. They take the shape of the container they're poured into. And isn't it interesting how changing the container changes everything? And as you consider that now, you might already notice a shift, a feeling, a sense of something beginning to realign inside, because you already know, don't you, that beliefs, they're just patterns of thoughts. And patterns, they're meant to be rewoven. Like an artist stepping back from the canvas and realising, wait, I can paint something entirely new. Because isn't that the truth? That at any moment, you can pick up the brush and reshape the picture. And isn't it fascinating how easy that is once you see it? And maybe you've already started to see it now. Maybe you've already begun to sense how the thoughts that once held you in place, they're loosening, shifting, melting into something new. Because here's the secret. The mind doesn't cling to what no longer serves it. It only holds on when it hasn't seen the other possibilities yet. And once it does, once you see it, once you feel it, everything changes. And it happens so naturally, so effortlessly. The You might not even realise the moment it happens, but you will, won't you? Maybe later today or tomorrow. Or maybe you're already feeling it now. That lightness, that clarity. That feeling like something is clicked into place in a way that just makes sense. And that makes you curious, doesn't it? Because if a belief is just a pattern, and a pattern is just a habit, then what happens when you outgrow it? Well, what happens to an old code when you realise it no longer fits? You don't fight to keep it, do you? No. You just set it down and walk forward lighter, freer, ready for something new. And isn't it exciting to wonder? What's the first thing you'll notice when that freedom feels completely natural? You don't have to answer that now, or maybe you already have, because it's already happening, isn't it?